Welcome to ChickenMatterTalks, a channel dedicated to exploring the history, heritage, and responsible care of chickens and gamefowl around the world. In today's educational documentary, we will explore the origin and history of the White Speckled Gamefowl Bloodline, a visually distinctive and historically important color-based group within traditional poultry breeding. This video is created strictly for educational and historical purposes only. Our discussion focuses on heritage, color development, genetics, and ethical breeding practices. No harmful, unethical, or prohibited activities are shown or encouraged. By the end of this video, you will understand how white speckled gamefowl emerged, how they were preserved, and why they remain important in heritage poultry programs today. What is the White Speckled Gamefowl Bloodline? The White Speckled Gamefowl Bloodline is identified primarily by its unique feather coloration, characterized by a light or white base color, dark or contrasting speckles distributed across the body, clear visual contrast between feather layers. Like many traditional gamefowl types, white speckled is not a single closed family line, but a color-based classification that appears across different breeding families and regions. This distinction is important for transparency and responsible poultry education. Early origins of speckled coloration. Speckled feather patterns are not accidental. They appear naturally through genetic variation in pigment distribution. Early domesticated chickens in Southeast Asia and South Asia already displayed spotted, mottled, and speckled feather patterns. As chickens migrated through trade routes into Europe and the Americas, breeders observed that speckled coloration was visually distinct, easy to identify, relatively stable when selectively bred. Over time, white speckled birds were intentionally preserved due to their consistent appearance and adaptability. Development of white speckled gamefowl in breeding programs. As poultry breeding became more organized, breeders began separating birds by color, structure, behavioral traits, line consistency. White speckled birds stood out because their coloration remained identifiable across generations. Speckling patterns were inheritable. Light base color allowed clearer evaluation of feather quality. Because of this, white speckled gamefowl became valuable reference birds in breeding programs. Is white speckled a pure bloodline? To remain transparent, white speckled is a color expression, not a single breeder-named bloodline. Multiple bloodlines can produce white speckled offspring. Two white speckled birds may look similar but come from different geographic regions, different genetic foundations, different breeding philosophies. Understanding this prevents misinformation and supports ethical poultry education. Physical characteristics of white speckled gamefowl. Although variation exists, many white speckled gamefowl share common traits. Plumage, white or light cream base feathers, black, brown, or dark speckling, even distribution of spots. Body structure, medium to strong build, balanced frame, upright posture. General appearance, clean feather texture, alert expression, well-defined feather contrast. These characteristics made white speckled birds visually appealing and practical for selective breeding. Genetics behind speckled feather patterns. Speckled patterns result from partial pigment expression, interaction of dominant and recessive color genes, natural genetic variation. Responsible breeders focused on maintaining pattern clarity, avoiding excessive inbreeding, preserving feather quality. This careful approach allowed white speckled birds to remain genetically healthy and visually consistent. Role of white speckled gamefowl in modern heritage breeding. Today, white speckled gamefowl continue to serve important roles in heritage preservation programs, color pattern stabilization, educational poultry projects. Many breeders introduce white speckled birds to improve feather contrast, study pigment inheritance, preserve rare visual traits. Their continued presence reflects the value of diversity and balance in poultry genetics. Responsible and ethical poultry management. At ChickenMatterTalks, we strongly emphasize ethical poultry care. Responsible management includes proper housing and space, balanced nutrition, clean water access, humane handling, long-term breeding planning. Heritage preservation must always prioritize animal welfare and education, not exploitation. Conclusion and legacy. The White Speckled Gamefowl Bloodline represents genetic diversity, visual heritage, centuries of selective breeding knowledge. While not a single closed bloodline, white speckled birds remain a valuable part of traditional poultry history. By learning about their origin and development, we help preserve accurate information, ethical breeding, and cultural heritage. Thank you for watching ChickenMatterTalks. If you found this documentary helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with fellow poultry enthusiasts. Together, we preserve knowledge, transparency, and responsible poultry education.